So I just got back from seeing Spider-Man Far From Home, and my experience was probably a little bit more exciting than most people's experience will be, because we actually lost power in the middle of the movie. We have a really bad storm going on right now, so we actually completely lost power for a bit, but thankfully I was able to finish the movie, which is a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Spider-Man Far From Home. This will be non-spoiler review, so don't worry about that. There's a lot in this movie that you definitely don't want to be spoiled with, so just make sure you stay away from the spoilers with this movie, because there's a lot of really cool stuff that happens in this movie. So, let me just start off by saying this. I really, really, really like the second half of the movie. The first half I had a really tough time getting into, really tough time getting through. The first half was very much more so like these, kids going on a trip around the world and a vacation and stuff, and yay, a lot of humor that didn't necessarily land properly, yay. So I really had a hard time getting through the first half. The only really redeeming thing about the first half of the movie for me was Mysterio and Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal was so good in this movie. Mysterio was so good in this movie. They did such a fantastic job with Mysterio. I was blown away by it. I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything, but there's this one sequence where Mysterio is using his illusion powers and stuff, and it's honestly one of the coolest sequences I've seen in the Marvel movies. It's just so well done. I loved it so much. So the second half of the movie, though, is great. I loved the second half of the movie. They did a fantastic job really digging into Peter Parker's character in the second half. They did a great job showing his struggles. There's this whole sequence towards the end of the movie that is just so well done. And between Peter Parker and some of the other characters and stuff, it's just so good. It's just so good. I thought that MJ and Peter's relationship was really well done in this movie too, because usually I'm really annoyed by Peter Parker's romantic interests in these movies, but they did a good job with the relationship in this movie. I thought that it was the most well balanced it's been. And I don't know why that is, but they just did a really good job with it. And I actually kind of like MJ a lot more now than I did in the first one. So that was good. They do explain some of the things from Avengers Endgame in this movie that makes more sense now. So that's a good thing as well. The action was great. The cinematography was really good. Everyone was fantastic in this movie. Honestly, I thought that everyone really, really did a great job in their roles. Like I said, Jake Gyllenhaal and Mysterio, though, was just phenomenal. Honestly, that was so good. I think that Mysterio might be one of my favorite villains that has gone against Spider-Man in the movies up to this point. Like, he was great. I liked him even more than Vulture, actually, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that whole aspect of the movie. And there was a lot of really good moments between Mysterio and Spider-Man as well. There's a lot of really, really good scenes that they did. Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Holland were so good on screen together, so that was awesome. There's so many great twists in this movie as well. I thought that they handled the twists in this movie really well. I actually wasn't a big fan of the Spider-Man Homecoming. I don't know. I didn't really like the movie just because it didn't really feel like that it went really anywhere. It didn't really feel like they took any, risks. It felt like they were really holding their punches with Homecoming. But this one, they really did take some pretty awesome risks in the movie. There was a lot of really awesome, memorable things about this movie that I really liked a lot. So that was good. They did a great job with Peter Parker's character. I thought that everything that they did with him in this movie really brought his character to a new level in his arc and stuff. So that was great as well. The writing I thought was actually pretty decent. Like I said, I'm pretty much everything I'm talking about is all stuff that happens more so in the second half of the movie. The first half of the movie, really, really rough to get through. It really is. I had a hard time slogging through the first half of the movie. Like I said, the only real redeeming thing about the first half of the movie for me was like Mysterio and stuff. The humor was, some things landed, some things definitely didn't land as far as the humor goes. So that was kind of annoying. And there was a ton of humor in the first half of the movie. It was actually kind of annoying. So that was a thing. But yeah, Do I recommend the movie? Yes, I definitely do recommend the movie. There weren't any woke elements or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. This movie doesn't have any of that sort of nonsense in it. So I definitely do recommend the movie. I really do. I think you will have a good time. If you are a fan of Marvel, if you're an MCU fan, if you're a Spider-Man fan, I think you will really, really enjoy this movie. I really do. Like I said, you just gotta bear with it, because the first half is pretty rough to get through, but the second half really, really makes up for the first half. So you don't have to worry about it from that aspect. So, those are just kind of my general thoughts about the movie. I really, really did enjoy it a lot. I left the theater on a high, on a superhero high and stuff, and that was awesome as well. So, there's a lot of great stuff in the movie. So this is honestly probably one of my favorite of the Spider-Man movies now. It's really, really high up there for me. It's probably up there with like Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's probably like right up there with those two movies for me. So I really, really did enjoy this movie a lot. So with that being said, I do want to hear if you have seen the movie, what you thought in the comments below. There was some really, really crazy stuff that happened in the post-credit scenes in the movie. So I'm probably going to do a separate video talking about that stuff, because the twists and the crazy stuff that happens in the post-credit scenes and the mid-credit scenes were pretty great. So I might do a separate video talking about that stuff, and maybe I'll make that one of my videos for you guys for this upcoming weekend. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think? What do you think about the movie? If you have seen it, I would love to hear what you guys thought about the movie as well. As far as ratings go, I'm going to give this movie for now 4.5 stars, 4.5 stars. So there you go. There's my rating. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.